West and Fullerton College. Golden West enters this one at 2-3-2 and a 2-0, make it 3-0 in Orange Conference play record. Mark, you bring in the Golden West Rustlers, who have looked shaky outside of Orange Empire Conference play, but you switch it over to the OEC, and to put it plainly, they have looked electric.
Yeah, they look great. And Ryan, overall, they're 3-3-2. And, you know, that's the thing where you talked about it, that you said basically 3-0. You look at what they've done. They played 8 games. They're sitting there in second place behind Irvine Valley. Cypress is nipping at their heels. And when it really comes down to it, you look at Golden West all together in what they've done. It's surprising because offensive stat-wise, guess where Golden West is? At the bottom of the heap. The only thing that they really do well so far is their shooting percentage is one of the better ones, around 200 in a game.
So we're underway here from Fullerton College and Hal Scherbeck Field. Ball into the right-hand corner where it'll be picked up by Michael Espinoza. Espinoza diving towards the middle. He takes one, lines it down the middle of the park where it's already a shot on goal for Fullerton. Right out the gate, Fullerton College is underway with a shot on goal by Kevin Castro. And for Fullerton College, they get their first opportunity, and Mark, on the attack, quickly go the Hornets.
Yeah, when you think about it, the Hornets have 9 assists this season already in 10 games. 31 points overall, a shooting percentage, though, of only 164, and we know they're better offensively than that. Gabe basically came up here and said he's waiting for the magic to happen, and when it does, then you're going to have to turn around and say, if you're Cypress, Fullerton is on my heels, and I'm in trouble.
Ball goes out far side of the field where Golden West will pick it up. They'll toss it in to Julian De Los Santos. De Los Santos out of Downey has that go off his foot, and quickly Fullerton gets it back. Last week when we saw Fullerton College, they got a 1-0 win over top of Santa Ana thanks to Jacob Leggett as the goal scorer, who was fantastic for the Hornets, especially off the volley, getting one right before the half ended up finishing. And Fullerton College got a 1-0 victory to get them to their current conference record, which keeps them in the top 5 mark. And that's going to be really big in Orange Empire Conference play, because one thing that you point out in the pregame with Coach Greg Aviles is that if Fullerton wins, they're right where they want to be.
You know, I was just getting ready to kick the ball over to Big Joe, but the sandwich walked away because he needed a little more mayonnaise on the side of him. And, you know, so, Joe, if I'd have known you needed a chair, I'd have offered you one.
I wouldn't have.
You know? Because, I mean, you know, well, he's trying to wheedle his way in between. I getting ready to pass you a chair, and you stepped away from me.
It's okay. You know what they say. Let those sit with a bad hip.
There we go. Thank you.
That is true. The two with the bad hips are the ones who are sitting down. And there's Becky behind the controls. That ball goes out past the end line, and Fullerton College is going to watch on as Trevor Jones will kick this away. Speaking of Trevor Jones, he gets the start in net here today, as Fullerton College will watch Jones be one of the better goalkeepers in the OEC in the early going. He gets the start, as we mentioned, inside the 18. He'll be joined by Cameron Hatamkani, in addition to Damian Buenrostro, and they'll be joined by Arnold Ramirez. They'll have to watch for a second as Espinoza sees that one go to Palacios, who scores! Michael Espinoza to Josias Palacios. And Fullerton College is on the board as the entire bench goes over to mob the goal scorer in Palacios. He now has his his 6th goal of the season. And just 3 minutes in, Fullerton College is on.
And really, Joe, that's all set up by, we heard Gabe, you were up here before too, said that his team has really good dribbling skills, which makes them quicker, maybe not faster, but quicker. And when you're backpedaling, there's nothing you can do. You saw it taken down in the right wing. It comes over there. The defender had no way to defend, and then the perfect pass to set up the goal. It really was the ability to dribble the ball that causes that goal.
Well, and it happened so quickly. It was one of those things, if you blink and you missed it, and I blinked, Mark.
It was, Ryan, the assist has to be prettier than the goal on that last play.
Yeah, full agree, Marquez. It looked like Fullerton College was going to take it up that right side, get a little offensive pressure from the wings, which has been where their success has been in the early going. Whenever they push it out towards the wings and then bring it in from there, bring it towards the corners. On either side, they have had a lot of success. Espinoza gets it back. He's got the ball just outside the 18. He tries to get around one, tries to body his way towards the ball again. Palacios on the takeaway, and Fullerton gets it right back. The Hornets looking to go on the attack once again, and this will end up being a corner kick. So very quickly, Fullerton College with their first corner of the day, and the Hornets are plain and simple buzzing.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you've got to look at Espinoza and Palacio. That's right now. That tandem looks like they know where the other one is going. And Joe, it's like anything else. If I know what you're going to say, I can step in and take the next sentence. They know where the ball's going. Mr. Sandwich?
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, take your sandwich? Well, I'd never take your sandwich. I know better than that. But it's picking up that language and taking the next word. That's what they're doing with the ball right now.
I keep missing.
Joe, you know what? Joe needs to readjust his dentures right about now.
Ball towards the middle. It ends up going up to the sky where it will be kicked out of frame.
Come on, dog.
Throw in here for Golden West as they will take over from the near side. Official says, hey, whoa, let's not take too many steps. Rocky Trejo is out there in addition to Yasir Duque, and they will also be joined by Roger Reyes with Emmanuel Jimenez and Martin Rubalcaba, Julian De Los Santos, and Jason Rosales. That rounds out the starting 11 for Golden West. On the other side for Fullerton College, we start things off in goal with Steven Martinez, joined by Brandon Acevedo and Andrew Ariola, who joined us, and you will see at the half as we had a profile interview with him. Ruben Morales Guerrero, joined by Kevin Castro and Josias Palacio, who was the goal scorer in the 3rd minute, with Antonio Villafana, in addition to Francisco Torres, Bryant Paulmounter, and they are also joined by the duo of Jared Rodriguez and Michael Espinoza, who already has an assist in this one. 1-0 Fullerton College with the lead as you are watching on Hornet Radio in conjunction with the Fullerton College Athletics YouTube page. Palacio sees this one going to the sky. He tries to take it over, can't get the takeaway, but the Hornets do have it in the middle of the park. Try and move it across with Villafana. Villafana looking for a teammate. He's going to slide this one over to his right where he finds Rodriguez. Rodriguez, one of the teammates of Andrew Ariola in his high school days, and a guy that he mentioned was a big influence on him as they ended up starting off their lower division soccer careers. We'll see this one go towards the far side where Fullerton will have a throw-in. Now, very quickly, guys, that last goal by Fullerton College was brought to you by the FC Team Store. The Fullerton College Team Store. Maybe if you are thinking, hey, I want to show my Hornet pride, how can I do that? Well, you can visit the FC Team Store for official jerseys, gear, and fan merchandise. Whether you're cheering from the stands or representing on campus, we've got everything you need to support your Hornets. Stop by today and gear up at the FC Team Store.
Ryan, I think this thing is interesting. Gabe came up here and told us he changed the formation for this game. He went with a 3-5-2 and actually told me that is a more attacking offensive setup where I sort of thought it was more play in the midfield and be back on the defense. But he basically said, no, on the 5 mid people, those wings need to fly down there, and it's really an offensive attack.
Well, the most intriguing thing about that statement is, Mark, is that you put Gabriel Martinez as the head coach of Fullerton College Soccer.
Did,
it is
I'm sorry.
actually
Greg.
it's Greg
I'm
Vilas.
sorry, Greg.
No, but Mark, to your credit, exactly what you're saying. He mentioned that this was actually going to be a very attacking lineup. Mark, you love to see this program, and it's what you mentioned the last game that you were with us. If they can go on the attack and force the issue, which is what Joe has been saying all season long, you see a lot of success. And that's exactly what Greg talked to you about.
Yeah, and that's what he saw, and that's why he changed. And he talked about the fact that they can dribble the ball well, which actually makes them a faster team. And I think that's something we've talked about all year long as there's a player down on the field. So we have a timeout to see if he can get up again. And, Joe, I'm going to go back to you now that you're nice and relaxed. You finish your sandwich. You're in the cool air. You talked about the attacking aspect. But we had talked about team speed, and Greg said it's not really fleet of foot. It's how well you are with your fundamentals, which actually makes you faster.
Yeah, he was talking about it's not just raw foot speed, right? You have to take into account total speed of a player. How quickly are they without a ball? How quickly are they making a run? How quickly are they making a run with the ball? And that factors into kind of that total picture that maybe some people don't take into account when they're looking at raw speed of a player. And you beat me to the punch, Mark. I was going to talk about, as Ryan would say, Fullerton's early marker this match. And you had mentioned to us before, we heard Greg talking to you about some formation changes, and I was going to also bring that up and ask the same questions you did. What is that marker because we made a change? And also something like that, if Fullerton's playing one formation, and all of a sudden they bring out a different one, could have caught Golden West a little flat-footed, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think the thing they did is they come down in the attack again is really, guys, you always talk about it, no matter what the game is, that it's that change-up that happens, that you do it to see if that'll motivate the players. And, Ryan, it motivated the players to start this game off.
It certainly did, as that attack on that right side produces a goal in the 3rd minute by Josias Palacios, and he was assisted by Michael Espinoza. So Espinoza gets an assist to his credit, the freshman doing well here in the early going. And, guys, that actually brings up a good point, and it's the fact that that attack along the wing was brought to you by FC Journalism and the journalism program here at Fullerton College. If you are ready to tell the stories that matter, Fullerton College's journalism program offers hands-on training in print, digital, and broadcast media. Learn from working professionals using industry-standard equipment. You can get certified in journalism, PR, or advertising, and graduate job-ready. Your media career starts here at Fullerton College.
So we got attacked by journalism? Is that what you're telling me?
No, that attack was brought to you by
Oh,
journalism.
okay. I thought maybe somebody was using the wrong grammar up here.
No.
Okay.
Is this some kind of like weird Shark Week when journalists attack?
We're going to need a bigger booth. Here's Golden West on the attack, looking for it. That ends up going off the awaiting head of Hatem Khani. Hatem Khani out of Corona Del Mar and Newport Beach native. He tries to scoot this one over to his left and sees it popped up into the air. It will go all the way back where Palacios is on the chase and trying to get up to it quickly was Trevor Jones. He does get there in time. Ariola, using his body to find positioning, is able to take advantage, and now it's scooted away by Villafana. Villafana on the advantage. Fullerton College gets that taken away from them, and the Rustlers try and take once more. Instead, Fullerton plays ping pong going back and forth as Villafana has to track back to his left. Villafana on the turn. Villafana still with it, going past the 30-yard line here on the gridiron-marked House Scherbeck Field. Finally, Fullerton gets it back on the attack. It's now to Cisco Torres, one of the captains for this program. Takes a shot that ends up going high and wide. Another attack by Fullerton College where they're able to find space and get themselves into the clear, but they just couldn't convert on this one. And with under 33 minutes left to play in the first half, it's Fullerton College 1, Golden West 0.
Yes, it is. It's all of us are looking at our
Thank
stuff
you, Corey
down there.
Nalen.
And here's the thing, guys. I got to ask both of you, Ryan. I was waiting for you to get done. You were out there setting up equipment. Let's be very realistic. You came back looking like you'd walked out of a shower. Joe was up here in the booth. I was down the field. I was soaking wet, too. You've got to wonder, is there going to be a water break today? And if there is not a water break today, then how these young people are playing in this very god-awful humidity that we've got in this field. And will somebody wilt in this game so that you lose not because you were outplayed, it's just because of the conditions on the field?
Well, see, here's the difference here, Mark, is number one, these are high-class athletes at the very top of their game. Number two, I am one sandwich short of fat. So that would be why. But yes, Mark, to your credit, this is a very humid day that has a lot of heat. Joe, you were writing on the graphics that it feels like 115, even though it's not. It's just a shade over 85, but it is extremely humid, and that's going to play into how the ball is affected and how it flies into the air later on in this one. Joe, I'll bring it over to you. We've seen some very warm days here at House Scherbeck Field as this one is scooted over towards the left and a corner kick is coming up for Golden West. But we have seen some warm days here at House Scherbeck Field, but this might be one of the most humid we've seen in the last 3 years.
I'm going to say this is one of the ugliest days we've had at this field. And I think Mark makes a good point. If you see in, World Cup play, both the men and the women will take their water break. You go down and you watch some. Oh God, I can't. I'm gonna butcher the league. Let me look at my hat. Is the league on my hat?
The NWSL?
There we go.
I
Didn't
gotcha.
have to look at my hat. And I haven't watched an MLS game in a hot minute, but like I know the NWSL.
SL?
There we go, Ryan. Um, those girls will take water breaks when I go watch, games down in San Diego. I'm sure the men on the MLS side take those hydration breaks, especially on humid, ugly, hot days like today. It's typical California day, nice and sunny, humid as all get out.
And you look at the athletic training staff, of course, Lorena Tarnay over to our right, always has these student athletes ready to roll in terms of hydration whenever they look at what the calendar is going to bring them, whenever they look at what the weather is going to bring them. She always makes sure that these student athletes have the opportunity to know when they have to hydrate, how much they have to hydrate, and how they can better recover from matches like this. But Mark, you look at a matchup like this, even the best of athletes, it will wear down on you as the day keeps going on.
Yeah, and it's how well you sweat, retain water, and everything else when you play a game.
Opportunity, little liner. Shot that gets blocked. Not going to count that on the official shot tracker as this is taken away very nicely. Scooped away by Ruben Morales-Guerrero. Morales-Guerrero tried to line this one. Little scoop pass to his right gets intercepted, and it plays all the way back to Torres, and he'll find his way to Martinez. So Martinez, we talked to on the coaches show last week. We asked him, how do you keep vocal with your players? How do you make sure that you establish chemistry? And Mark, one thing that he said that was interesting is that he said, in short, you have to find a way to trust your guys quickly, especially at this level, because one thing that you'll always find is that there is a lot of turnaround. As Villafana takes this over to his left foot, tried to scoop that to himself, and it finds its way to Espinoza, and a foul against Fullerton. But he said, at this level, you're going to have a lot of teammates, and especially on a team like Fullerton that carries a lot on their roster. You'll have so many teammates that you have to figure out how to find a way to trust someone very quickly. And if it's your back line directly in front of them, you have no other option but to find that trust.
Yeah, and as a goalkeeper, the only thing you can do is direct traffic that's in front of you. In other words, I may suggest to you, hey, when the guy comes down, I may push him as far as you can to his right or his left when he's bringing the ball down. And if he's going to take it across with a nice little kick, make sure he takes it high, not low, when he crosses, so the individual that gets that crossing pass has to take a shot from 20 yards out, not 10 yards out.
Left-hand side, here's Golden West on the attack. They've got an opportunity for a shot that ends up going wide and goes right through the middle of the camera. So we'll take it. No contact with the camera there, as that is going to be a shot given by Luis Cano, who ended up subbing in just a few moments ago. So Cano gets the first shot of the first half for Golden West. No save there for Steven Martinez, as it will come up as a goal kick. And Mark, I do have to point something out that's pretty interesting about that last opportunity there by Golden West. It's the fact that it was brought to you by the Hornet here at Fullerton College. You can stay informed with the Hornet, your campus newspaper. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, our student journalists bring you the stories that matter to the Fullerton College community. Read it online today. The Hornet, where student voices make headlines.
Yeah, and Ryan, on that last shot by Cano, too, what I like the fact that he did is he did not look for a fellow player. It was 1 against 3. He knew he had the defender beat. He decided to let it rip, which he did, off the net. But again, now it gets you thinking and keeps you back on your heel.
Here's Palacios trying to catch up to it. He does for a moment, but he can't get his right foot to control it. And Mark, it almost seemed like he was waiting to see if there was going to be a carom or it got away from someone.
Yeah, it did. And for a second, he didn't get more aggressive with his kick, too. And I think he didn't want to do that because he would have kicked the goaltender who was laying prone to the field. And the last thing you want is get that yellow or red card early in this match.
Ball up into the air. Both teams fighting for it. Still looking. Finally kicked away over towards Villafana, who tries to find someone on his right. It goes over towards Fabian Perez. And it will once again land in the arms of Trevor Jones. So Jones has had to be alive on this one, Mark. And in the early going, Jones has really been well with his positioning. Yes, he does get a goal that goes by him. But even on the goal that gets scored, Mark, he has contact on it and was in the right spot. It just happened to bounce away from him.
Yeah, and here's the thing again is we're getting the referee now is the Hornets are getting a free kick. And we'll see. They're going to bring everybody up. Here's the thing that's interesting, Joe. I tell you what, they played that 3-5-2, but look where everybody's at. You and I have been out here a couple times. I haven't seen the Hornets this far up the field this year. I know you guys did a game without me, but it really just looks like the mindset has changed with all the players.
Well, yeah, if you want to score, you have to put on the pressure, right? And sometimes to put on the pressure, it just means stacking your attacking third with bodies.
Left-hand side of the park, Fullerton is going to have a throw-in. Joe, you mentioned that stacking. For Fullerton College, what we've seen in terms of having success, what we have noticed with the Hornets is that every single time they move up the park with what Mark refers to as a triangle, multiple options allows for the Hornets to move up the field very quickly and very easily. The more they rotate that triangle, the more opportunities they have had. So far in this one, they've got 3 shots, they've got a goal in the early going, and now they have a chance to really expand on that. Joe, you've played this game for quite a while. You look at what Fullerton College can do. Up 1-0 over a team that has been very good in conference. What does that do to your mindset at the moment?
I think it's, and how I like to talk about stuff, it's momentum, it's tempo, and you're building that momentum. You're swinging back into the part of you're swinging further into the win column, which is where you want to be, especially as we get deeper into conference play, right? And you want to keep that momentum going, and that could be part of the reasoning for flipping formations today. Let's pile on the pressure. Let's keep the record, improve the record, because a very competitive conference like the OEC, one win against the correct opponent with the way that the ratings are stacked, right? One win against the right opponent could mean you're in playoff contention or you're not. So I think this is part of the masterminding what? The big brain, good idea-ness of Greg and Kenny in let's pile on the pressure. This is Golden West. Normally a decent team in OEC play, and so, I mean, it's the kind of game where you've had a couple ties, you've played some tough opponents and not taken a loss and walked away with a tie and been happy. And so let's put some W's in, or some check marks in the W columns, right?
Yeah, and Mark, I'll flip it over to you. You've seen a lot of Orange Empire Conference soccer lately, especially with Cypress and Saddleback. Yes, it's still early, so we're trying to figure out what this game is going to be. But have you seen the Orange Empire Conference be more or less physical in the early going that you have noticed to this point?
Well, they're much more physical, and I've seen the referees allow the physicality, especially on the women's side. But the men have played more physical, and I think that leans into a lot of teams, maybe like Fullerton College, maybe like Cypress College. Cypress College and Fullerton are extremely physical when they play each other. Irvine Valley's having a good season. I mean, you look at them, they're 6-4 overall. Yet Fullerton is still ranked high in the power rankings, which Greg basically said to me he doesn't worry about whatsoever. I think the one thing I've seen in the OEC, I have not seen that outstanding team where we go, ooh, this is the team that's going to win the whole thing. And when they don't, you go, I don't know why. I haven't seen that so far.
And it's funny you say that because you see from a lot of different teams, especially in the top 4, and we'll include Fullerton, so make it the top 5.
Yeah, let's do that.
You see a lot of those teams didn't necessarily have the greatest of preseasons, but you look at who they played, and it's consistently some of the best teams in California. Yes, they may have struggled, but they're playing, again, some of the top teams in California. You look at Fullerton. They played Cuyamaca here at home. Golden West tied Cuyamaca 2-2 as a common opponent earlier. They also played LA City, who Fullerton played in the playoffs last year. So you have a team that just went to the playoffs that ends up playing this Golden West team in the preseason as well. So now all of a sudden you look at these two squads and you say, okay, well, yes, their preseason numbers in 3-3-2, 2-3-2 don't end up wowing you or jumping off the page, but you also have to look at who they played.
Well, Ryan, I think the thing that's very interesting, too, is when you talked about Cuyamaca being up there, they are down when you look at the power rankings, California. They're behind Cypress and Fullerton in the power rankings, even though their record is 8-1-2, and Fullerton's 2-4-4 when you look at what's going on with what they had on here, which is wrong. But you look at the power rankings that they had this season, Cuyamaca's behind them. Yet Cuyamaca is ranked number 1 in the nation. So it's that thing that I'm not sure anybody knows. You know, Corey Nalen always says it's that psych test when you watch them. And you watch this Fullerton team, they improve every time you guys come out to see them. They are a different looking team. They're getting better with every match they play.
It's almost like if you were to put it into terms while watching Dragon Ball Z, it's like a Zenkai boost when a Saiyan loses a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That is, you know what, Mark? That's exactly what I was thinking.
You know what? I was too.
Shot by Fullerton ends up going just wide. The funny thing is, Becky understood. She got what Joe was saying. Did you? No, never mind. So we're 0 for 3 up here.
If it's not a Diet Coke, Becky has no idea what we're talking about.
Fullerton College on the chase there, almost getting a chance out of that. Trevor Jones was wise to it once more. Fabian Perez looking to drop it down, and fresh into the game was the goal scorer against Santa Ana in Jacob Leggett. Leggett, excuse me, watching on as Fullerton takes it once more. Now, here's what's interesting, guys. You look at Fullerton's first half of their season, a lot of their matches ended up starting on Tuesdays. Now, or excuse me, home matches start on Tuesdays. Now you're looking towards the back half of the schedule, mostly Friday games, a couple of Tuesdays mixed in. But Mark, as a student athlete, how does that change your timing, considering that you have to normalize yourself to Tuesday home games and not having to go on the road and not having to deal with going into a bus or traveling with some of your teammates, and then switch it over to a Friday and change the body clock?
Well, I think Friday-wise it helps because a lot of students don't have Friday classes. The way classes are set up, they might be Tuesday, Thursdays. They might be Monday, Wednesdays, because a lot of professors now found out that a lot of students really weren't up to listening, studying. They were tired at the end of the week, so they take those longer midweek classes, and I think that helps playing on a Friday.
Here's Courtney down the middle. Here's a chance for Glowacki. He's trying to find it. Fabian Perez sends this one up and high. Perez had just a little bit more time than he realized there, guys, and he puts that one up over top of the goal.
I tell you what, if that was chocolate cake and you threw some ice cream on top, they all passed on it just like Corey Nalen would have too. He said, thanks, but if it's not chocolate, white cake with chocolate icing and vanilla ice cream, I'm not going to touch it. That's what looked when that goalie missed and could not control the initial shot.
So you're saying that it was like a pepperoni pizza with the essence of jalapeno.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Ball goes to the near side of the field. Joe's shaking his head as if we don't have a story to tell.
Yeah, that's it. We always have stories to tell.
Under 18 minutes to play here in the first half as Fullerton will bring it back with Torres. Now the back line playing catch. Goes to Ariola right down the middle of the frame. He'll swing it over to his left, where Leggett with a beautiful touch is able to find himself some open space. Fullerton on the attack. They're on a 4-on-5 and trying to swing it back towards the middle was Leggett, but that gets intercepted and has to be taken over by Jared Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to swing this to his right, but can't successfully get it to a teammate, and it is cleared by the Rustlers. Here's Ariola. Ariola thinking about loading one up. Instead, he ends up getting that one taken away, and the Rustlers can hurry, and they will find themselves in a 3-on-4. Liner down the right side. That's not going to work. And will it be a corner or make it a goal kick or a throw-in? It is, in fact, a goal kick. So with 18 minutes left, under 18, I should say, 16 and a half to be precise, Fullerton College 1, Golden West 0, as you are watching Fullerton College soccer and the weekday kickoff here on Hornet Radio in conjunction with the Fullerton College Athletics YouTube page. Which brings us to our 18-minute promo of Mark. You can tune in to Hornet Radio. Speaking of Hornet Radio that we just talked about, you can tune into Hornet Radio, which is your campus soundtrack. We're streaming live with the best music, the best mix of music, talk, and local programming. Whether you're studying, commuting, or just hanging out, Hornet Radio keeps you connected to campus life. You can listen online or watch us online now.
Mark, it sounds like Ryan clearly hasn't had enough coffee today.
You know what? I think he should have finished off that Coca-Cola when we offered it to him.
I did drink the Coca-Cola, and I also had an energy drink too, so I'm rolling.
There you go.
Dropped down by Trevor Jones, the sophomore out of Vistamar High School. No booking here, as that was heavy contact, but nonetheless it will be ball awarded and a foul given to Golden West. Official talking to the bench for Fullerton College, just getting an explanation for everyone. Mark, just before we go into half, Fullerton College, the team that normally also calls this place home, Hal Scherbeck Field, and who has the majority of the markings on the field, ended up having a matchup yesterday that they end up coming away successful in.
Yeah, against College of the Canyons. They were up there by Magic Mountain, and they pulled off a victory. Looked like at halftime that that slim 10-0 lead was not going to hold up for them, but it did. And they are still there at the top of the heap in their conference.
That's going to be incredibly important because no longer will it be a bye opportunity, as this one is brought towards the middle, cleared away by Ariola, and finally Glowacki is able to catch up to it. Looking for it once more will be Jack Overton. Overton can't find it over to a teammate. It goes now to Courtney, off of Courtney and out. And you mentioned that, Mark, going back to the playoffs in the SCFA, it will be the 3 teams who win their conference get an automatic bid, followed by 3 at-large bids, which won't just be at-large across the entirety of all the conferences. So you could, what happened in the past is that you could have 2 different teams from the same conference go, as long as you had the at-large bid and the conference champion. Instead, 6 teams in total make it, 3 conference champions, and the next 3 in the standings in the OEC, or excuse me, not the OEC, but the SCFA in each of their conferences. So Fullerton in the Southern League, which would make it extra tough for them to try and get in, because as of right now, the top 3 teams in the conference, ironically, are Golden West, Fullerton, and then also Southwestern.
Yeah, it's Southwestern. They look like the real deal, don't they? I mean, everybody keeps waiting for them to fold, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen this season, like Southwestern is on the roll. Speaking of being on the roll, Long Beach City is on the roll in their soccer game. They're up 5-0 already heading for the second half. One of those teams that I saw play this season, Long Beach is the real deal again this year.
Far side of the pitch, it is Golden West trying to take over. They're looking for Buenrostro, and he will have to lay it over towards Emmanuel Jimenez. Now Jimenez off the back heel. Here's a shot that's going to go up and high. That is the second shot of the first half for Golden West, and neither of them have been on frame. Mark, you mentioned Long Beach City College. It's been a while since we have looked at them and said they are a threat to the playoffs. But traditionally in Southern California, Long Beach has always been in the mix.
Yeah, well, they were there last year.
They were indeed.
Yeah, they were
right there.
They were right there. So it's interesting watching Golden West on the far side of the field. Joe, it's the first time I've watched an entire team warming up at one time. I mean, everybody that's on the bench over there is warming up.
Maybe they're going to do a full shift change.
That's what I'm wondering. I really am. I'm just wondering.
Clear the benches.
You know?
There was one time at a basketball tournament at Cypress that Mark had the opportunity to be able to look at an entire team change all 5 people on the floor at the same
Every
time.
3 minutes.
And that was the great part, is the fact that it was, in fact, at every, and we're not kidding, every single dead ball opportunity, they changed all 5 guys on the floor. And if I remember correctly, that was actually Southwestern who did that.
Yeah, they kept switching out, so they put 5 new guys in. Just when I knew which 5 were on the floor, then 5 more would come in. Then I'd think I had those 5. Then 5 more would come in. Needless to say, everybody was having a great day except one guy over there.
He was the guy above the court watching the game, going, "Hey, wait, what?"
The guy standing by me, I thought it was funny.
We didn't just think it was funny; we were in tears.
That's it.
10:52 left on the clock in the first half. Jacob Leggett is lined up with Evan Courtney. Leggett on the right side. There goes Courtney. He's going to get away from it. Leggett, spinner, down the middle. A chance for the Hornets, and that goes wide. Not going to award a shot on that because it went off the side of Ariola, who was looking for an opportunity to get his fourth 3C2A goal. Leggett, heavy contact. He gets fouled, and Fullerton College is going to get the ball on a free kick. Beautiful day to look at here in Fullerton, inside the booth with air conditioning and a dehumidifier. Then outside, well, not so much. It is quite humid here in Fullerton. The field is a little bit more slick. Talk to Andrew Ariola about conditions and how they can affect how you play the game. And he said that's one thing about Hal Scherbeck Field. Loves playing here because the bounces are a bit more predictable. You can get a better understanding of where the ball is going to go depending on the time of day. But he also said if it goes into nighttime, that dew point drops or there's some humidity, the ball plays very different and also bounces very different off of the field, or the turf, I should say, here at Hal Scherbeck Field.
Well, and that's another thing. When we had our little pregame chat with Greg, he was talking about our field compared to other teams' fields. And we've had this discussion on the air before, Ryan, where there's not a set one size. There's a range of sizes that fields can be to accommodate different spaces that different organizations may have access to put a field
You are absolutely
on a piece of property or on a college.
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Joe. There is a minimum and a maximum for the field in terms of length and width that is presented to each and every team across the state of California. So you can't have it be shorter or smaller. You can't have it be longer or have more width to it than the regulations. But anything inside of those regulations is more than allowed. So Fullerton, if I remember correctly, Mark, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a full 80 by 120 that they have here at Fullerton College, which is one of the bigger parks in all of Southern California. But you will also find that same thing with most of the teams that have turf and split a field with soccer and gridiron football. That's the case here in Southern California. So it's an 80 by 120 as opposed to a place where, like where Mark sees over at Cypress, it's a little shorter of a field, a little bit smaller. So it affects the way that you play.
Well, and the other thing, Joe, is that when Ryan brought up Cypress is because of it being natural grass, it's got a curvature to it because if we had rain, which we don't ever see here in California, but if we had a lot of rain, you've got to be able to have it run off. You can't have the field puddling, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why you've got to have it, this strange look of a field that isn't flat. It's at a slight angle.
Yeah, well, and our home field at Hal Scherbeck's field being slightly larger, Greg was saying that's something he's noticing with his players. The fact that our field is a little bit larger than maybe what some of the other teams that come here are used to. And it sounded like he was talking like the conditioning is starting to show itself in the season of his team versus other teams. And we can run around this field maybe better than some other teams that aren't used to this field. Or on a smaller field, maybe you can have a bad touch and it's smaller, so you have more time to get to it. And on this field, you don't because it's a larger field and there's more ground to cover.
Well, and you guys have both played sports. I mean, when you hit a turf field and it's not padded properly, it's like coming down on cement. You hit a grass field. Grass fields give. I know how stupid that sounds, but they give. The dirt gives.
No, you're absolutely right, because not only are you getting just the dirt that gives, but depending on the length of the grass, that will also give. It gives you just a split second more, just a little bit of a quarter inch more of padding and bounce to what you're doing as well.
Well, that's a lot of the stuff that we learned when they were installing the field, and we walked out here like we owned the place, and we're talking to the installers, and they were talking about how they stitch the field, the length of the carpet, how or the length of the turf, right? And how you pick your length, and that has a lot to do with the field. Do you want it shorter, longer, medium? How do you want it? How do you want your rubber on the field, the little pellets? Like Mark said, padded versus unpadded, how much padding, how little padding, and even raking the field. All of these things are considerations and maintenance things that happen with turf fields, but I think a lot of people think it's a kind of set it and forget it situation that, yes, we put it in, we never have to touch it. No, there's these little things, and especially when installing the field, like I was saying, the length of the turf, and the padding and all of those other considerations, they affect the field. And then it's the maintenance. It's the how often do you drag the field? I don't think many people, I didn't, before I came out here and saw Fullerton with this field, I didn't realize they needed to, on a hot day, spray the field down 30 minutes before a game to cool the turf down. We all know turf gets hot, but I didn't realize there was heat mitigation steps that needed to be taking place. Thanks, guys.
Well, no, I was just
waiting.
Yeah, I was just watching. I was watching what was going on in the field.
Ball goes over towards the right. But also, Joe, to that point, you look at how the ball is going to play here as this will go over towards the left down the middle of the park.
What
A
a
shot
pass.
on goal and a nice chance there that is given by Almeida. And Almeida gets a shot on goal and just isn't able to get that one across. So nice opportunity for the Hornets and a save once more for Golden West.
You know, I'm going to interrupt Ryan because that's 3 times, Joe, they've run the same play. You take it down the right wing, you get to about the 10-yard line, then you kick it back in the middle. There is a person on basically just following you down about 10 yards to your left, almost like a drag play, and you're just putting it there, and they're hitting it on a dead run. They scored their first goal that way. They've run it 3 times in a row.
So what you're saying, running it down the sides and feeding it to the center, which is what you were saying the Hornets were doing well in some of their first games, they're doing a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of amazing just to watch it. And it's the old adage. Oh!
That ball was a laser by Leggett from 25 yards out, and it hits the post and caroms off to the side where it will be a goal kick. Almost an electric start once more for Fullerton in the first 45 as Leggett so close to making it 2-0. Fullerton College still leads it 1-0. Missed it by just a shade on the right side. Hits the post and comes right back. And that is the 3rd shot, or make it the 7th shot of the first half for Fullerton, and almost makes it 2-0. That one was absolutely launched there by Leggett, which, speaking of being launched, you can launch your broadcast career with Fullerton College's radio program. Get hands-on experience with professional equipment, learn on-air skills and audio production, in addition to digital media from industry experts. From behind the mic to behind the scenes, we'll prepare you for the radio industry. Enroll today.
Can you do it from behind a curtain?
You can.
Or if you're Texas James from behind the glass window, I think he's missing his headset today.
So is Texas James the Wizard? Is that what we're calling him?
We are, yeah. The Wizard of the West End.
The wonderful Wizard of James. Under 2.5 left to play here in the first 45 between Fullerton College and Golden West. Fullerton almost making it 2-0 just a few moments ago. They got the opening marker just 3 minutes in, thanks to Josias Palacios and Michael Espinoza. And earlier, I credited a shot on goal to Ivan Almeida. That was actually and should be credited to Jesus Leon, who is now on the pitch and opening things up in terms of spacing for Fullerton.
You know, guys, we were, and especially if you're a fan of Fullerton College soccer, first couple matches were a little rough. I know up here in the booth as fans, we were all saying it's not the start we were used to seeing, but kind of true to form, the team's finding its identity. And this is about normally the part of the time in the season where we see Fullerton establishing their goal scorers, whether it's one or multiple. I feel like last year it was the multiple feet that they were finding. 2 years ago it was Misael as a standout, and was it Angel Silviano?
Angel Silviano, yeah.
2 years ago. So it seems like this team is kind of, I want to say not right on track, but they're right on track to kind of how they develop over the course of an OEC season.
Well, let's be blunt, Joe. Let's give them the victory. Let's just say it happens. We end the game right now. They end up winning. They're only a half a game out of the top spot here in their conference in the OEC. So, I mean, as much as we've said, oh, God, Fullerton doesn't look as good, they're not as good as they've been in the past. Guys, they win this game. They're a half game out of first place at this part of the season. If you'd have said at the season started, hey, we're not even halfway through and they're half, we all said, well, that's what you should expect from this team. So, I mean, that's the thing. I know we all sort of expected them to take off like fireworks, and what they've done is they've aged like a good bottle of bourbon.
I thought you were going to say cheese, but yes, that works as well. There's a foul against Fullerton College and a set piece coming up for Golden West on the far side of the park. We'll call it about 6 yards outside the box. So a very dangerous spot here, Mark, as they, Golden West that being, have a great chance to equalize.
This is where defensively, Joe, if you're not looking for somebody standing by themselves, shame on you. Yeah. This is, like Ryan said, this would be a heck of a punctuation mark to, finish the essay with before the half.
Goes right in on goal. Steven Martinez is able to pick that up. The official takes a look at his watch, and we'll see how much time is left. Ball is booted up into the air. Fullerton with Leggett looking for it. That's going to be dumped out of play. And Fullerton will have a throw in here, and that will finish the first 45. Fullerton gets a good start in the first 3 minutes of play. They have a lot of chances and control the entire pace of play through the first 45. And the Fullerton College Hornets lead it 1-0 at the end of the first half. You are watching the weekday kickoff here on Hornet Radio, and coming up in just a couple of moments, if you stay with us, you will end up watching a profile interview that we had with the one and only sophomore and a team captain, Andrew Areola, right here on Hornet Radio. So, as we step aside, you will be able to listen and watch that in just a couple of moments. Our score is 1-0, Fullerton College with the lead at the end of 45. You're watching the weekday kickoff here on Hornet Radio. Hi there, I'm Ryan Osborne, and I'm joined by one of the captains of the men's soccer program, Andrew Ariola. And Andrew, when we take a look at your soccer career, let's go back to before Fullerton College.
Mhm.
You have your time at Canyons, but even before that, was there anyone specifically who kind of inspired your soccer career?
Ooh, um, kind of just growing up, like my dad was always big into soccer, and he kind of just like he set the light like when I was a kid, like to play, to get into soccer, and he'd always try and help me push, and my mom would also like they'd always make sure that I was doing my thing, like working hard, like not just like playing. Just if I'm gonna play, like if I'm gonna have fun, that's fine too. But if I really want to go anywhere in soccer, I gotta put like the work in, and they would always be there to remind me of that.
You mentioned that a lot of work ethic that we see, especially from this Fullerton College program, we hear about comes from family. And you mentioned
Hmm.
yourself that your family was a big part of that. When you went into high school and you started getting into high school play, were they really your support group that you could rely on when you just started to really get into getting more playing time and having bigger responsibility?
As much as I think it was them, there was also my JV coach in high school who really like helped me out a lot because before I started playing on varsity, I was on Frosh for a year, then JV, and then my third year as a junior in high school, I was not playing at all on varsity. I was like sitting on the bench every single game,
Mm.
and it was getting frustrating. But after the season, like even sophomore year, I got into track. Like I was getting my fitness, getting my like athletic ability better, and that junior year, just like it made me frustrated. I like worked like more than I'd ever done my whole life. And senior year, I was getting awards and being the best defender on our team.
When you say that, of course, you are a guy who has a lot of size compared to other players in Southern California. Was that something that you gradually grew into as you got older, or was that something that you more emphasized as you grew up?
No, I was growing up, I was never the biggest guy. I was always like either average height or below average height. Like I really didn't start growing. Like even some of my teammates now, like my friend Jared, like I would say freshman year, we were probably the same height in high school.
Mm.
And it didn't come until about sophomore year where I started getting more height compared to, and then like by junior year, I was probably pushing like 5'11", 6 foot, and then senior year a little more. And I don't think I hit full frame until probably last year.
Gotcha. Now, when you look at your senior year at Canyon, Tyson Smith scores a goal that sends you guys into the quarters. What was that like seeing that go in?
Oh, that was the best game. That game is it's like everything for that year. That game was there's pictures of that game, like you can see how passionate myself was. Even at our banquet, my coach talked about it, and like our team, like everything about that game was just it was insane. I loved that game.
Palos Verdes was a very good team going into it, who was on a hot streak, of course. But you guys had the opportunity to go in there hot as well. You
Hmm.
had a win in the previous matchup. You go into that one, if I remember right, 3-0 in the matchup beforehand. If I'm wrong, you can
Two or
correct me.
three, I think it was 2 or 3. Yeah.
Then you go into that one. You see that go across the line. Of course, you go on to quarters. Doesn't end the way that you would like it to, but nonetheless, you get that opportunity to see a big time marker for your school, for your program, a big moment in your senior career. How do you take that, ending your high school career, move it into Fullerton College momentum?
Honestly, like it took me a while to get over that loss against Servite. Like all of spring and track, I always get reminded of it. People kept bringing it up, and it was just like even in like club practice, like because I had friends that played for Servite or played for
Mm.
other teams that like around there, and they would always bring it up, and I would get annoyed and just beat them in practice. So it was like fine, but I don't know, kind of just made me like want to work harder to strive for better things after high school.
After high school, you mentioned a couple weeks ago to us that Evan Yule was a guy who you had seen before, known before coming to Fullerton College, and kind of was a factor in coming here.
Hmm.
When you come to Fullerton College and you have someone that you do have familiarity with, does it help or did it help with your transition coming to the college game?
Um, yes, it did, but I also think that like I had prepared myself enough, like through training and through just working out a lot, to be able to play at this level. It made it more comfortable for me knowing I had someone I could like rely on and someone I could like talk to about things
Hmm.
or just like how it's gonna be. But
All-state selection. What was that like to be able to see your name be put up there for those awards?
it was kind of surprising because like I thought Joel would be more of it because I thought he was like the sophomore captain, like the leader of our team. And, like it kind of seemed like the team relied on him more than they did on me. So it was very exciting, but kind of also surprising at the same time.
When you play on a back line with a guy like Evan, with all the experience that you had on the other side as well, now you switch it over to this year.
Hmm.
You are now one of the guys that other guys are going to have to look up to, look forward to, and be able to uh, see how you lead by example. How has your mindset changed going from year one to year two?
It's very different. Last year I was able to play with no pressure and like no one's like counting on me. And this year it kind of feels like the whole team is counting on me and the coaching staffs are counting on me to do a lot of things. And like even from high school, like that was never the thing. I was always just able to play how I wanted to play and kind of and this year it's like I gotta like take responsibility for myself, not just myself, but for the whole team kind of.
Before we continue on with this year, I do want to take it back to last year just one more time. Heavy physical matchups against IVC has always been the case, especially the last 10 years between Fullerton and Irvine Valley. You get your first career goal against Irvine Valley. What was that feeling like to be able to see your first career goal at the collegiate level?
It was probably the best timing because earlier in that match I had given up a penalty, which was the worst feeling ever.
Hmm.
And then when we won the game off of my goal, it was probably the most exciting thing that ever happened to me.
A 2-1 victory for Fullerton over IVC in that one. You go on to get goals against Golden West. And then, of course, as the season progresses, you guys get more and more momentum. You have a big win here at home. I do want to go to that LA City game here at Fullerton College. You guys were decisive. You controlled the pace of play the entire way. But from the on the field perspective, what was that playoff game like, especially in a home atmosphere?
That game was I was very excited, but like it was also a little nerve-wracking because I think it started raining that day.
It did. It
It
did.
started raining, and I never know what the ball, our balls like slip sometimes.
Mm.
And they were a team that shoots in conference. We hadn't really seen that much of a team that would rip shots outside the box, so it was definitely different. And like with if they got one on frame, I never know if it's gonna go through our keeper's hands or anything. But it was definitely good. But when we went into halftime, I felt that we were the stronger team in that game, so I had very much so confidence in us to close the game out.
You do end up closing it out. You go on to that next round. Fortunate late winner for Long Beach in that last matchup. You guys go out. But now you look over to this side. Start of the season, not where you guys wanted to be. But now over the last few games, you have really turned it on as of late.
Mhm.
What's been the biggest change?
I think that in the beginning, like we had a bunch of individuals and we all thought we could just rely on our individual talent. And as of recent, after preseason, like we've kind of started doing more team activities, like team fitness
Hmm.
on our own, kind of. And it's just helped us be like more of a team a little bit. And I feel like now that we are starting to win, we can't go back to where we were in preseason and we can't drop. 'Cause every loss in this conference is, or every point dropped is, it's going to cost us.
When you say that, many people, including most of us here at the radio station, agree. The Orange Empire Conference is the toughest conference to play in California overall. When you mention dropping points in the OEC, especially with how the look forward to postseason might be, is there any point where you have to look at some of the incoming freshmen who are just learning about the Orange Empire Conference for the first time, kind of look at them and say, hey, this is what you can expect physicality wise. This is what you can expect from the pace of play. How have you been able to kind of look at them and say, this is what you can expect?
I've tried to mention into it, like, for example, yesterday's game, like, as our sophomores know, like, Santiago is usually a weaker team, and like last year we were able to beat them. And this year, like, our coaches, the first thing they said was, don't go into this game like with a mentality, like we're just gonna go in there and win, and it blew up in our face. 'Cause I feel like some of the guys definitely did do that because we did not win yesterday. And like certain games, like every game is different. Every team plays different. Every team has a different approach, especially when they play us. I feel like every team comes with their best, and so I try to get the freshmen to know that every team wants to beat us.
You look at the upcoming matchup that you have here on Friday when this will actually air. We're planning to air this at halftime during your match. But when you look at a team like you have on Friday, coming here to Fullerton with Golden West, you never know what you're going to get from year in and year out. They'll either be fantastic, they'll have a down year. As of right now, what do you see in Golden West?
I myself haven't really watched Golden West at all this year, but I've seen some of their results, and they've gotten good results against some good teams. So I know like I'm gonna prepare myself as much as I can for this game. I hope my teammates are gonna do the same. I am not taking them lightly as they are 3-0 and to start a conference.
Finally, looking at the Orange Empire Conference, since you do have a year under your belt of playing against a bunch of teams, and you know that there are going to be some returners going towards the back half of conference play, is there any team in the entire OEC that you have that you go, you know what, I love playing this team?
Saddleback. I like playing against Saddleback. Not only because their stadium's nice, it's just like it's very fun to play against Saddleback.
And we welcome you back to the weekday kickoff here on Hornet Radio in conjunction with the Fullerton College Athletics YouTube page. In today's broadcast, one of our sponsors for today is the Coaches Show here on Hornet Radio. Don't miss the Coaches Show, your inside look at Hornet Athletics. Get exclusive interviews, game analysis, and behind-the-scenes access you won't find anywhere else. Available as a podcast on all platforms, and catch it on YouTube. The Coaches Show is where sports insight meets entertainment, and there will be a brand new edition of the Coaches Show coming out tonight as we got the opportunity to talk to some of the football players here at Fullerton College and about National Coaches Day. And before we get started for the second half, Ryan Osborne joined by Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, and Becky Nguyen behind the controls here for the weekday kickoff. We want to let you know about Inside Fullerton. Get the inside scoop with Inside Fullerton's magazine. From campus updates to student spotlights, we cover the stories that make FC special. Pick up your print copy around campus or read the latest issue online. Inside Fullerton, your window into campus life. Ryan Osborne, in addition to the 3 over to my right here on Hornet Radio, Caleb Ramos is in the booth as well as he prepares to be the big man on campus for volleyball later on tonight here on Hornet Radio as well. And 45 minutes of live.
45?
35 minutes. I am the Swedish chef giving you the time. 35 minutes of time.
Shorty, dorny.
Yesterday was Thursday.
Oh, man. Did you eat like peanut butter? You're like that dog?
I would love peanut butter. That would be great. You know what? A good peanut butter sandwich, a drizzle of honey, a little bit of cinnamon would be great on some rye bread or some wheat right now.
I'm
One
just
to
a nut
nothing.
butter fan.
1-0 Fullerton College with the lead.
Pistachios, almond butter.
And the next 45 is about to start.
Almond butter. Cashew butter.
You know what? I'd like to be watching a soccer game while you guys are eating that peanut butter sandwich. Oh, my.
We're back underway. Here on Hornet
She's
Radio.
taking on water, Captain.
Doot, doot, there goes the train. We're all missed it.
Welcome back to the sunken ship theory here on Hornet Radio. Ryan Osborne joined by Joseph Pavlenko,
Hi.
Mark Pavlovich, and Becky Nguyen. 1-0 Fullerton College. They got the third-minute goal to open the scoring here, as they will also pick up a set piece in just a couple of minutes and a free kick and a booking to someone on the other sideline.
Can I make a request that next time I get first and last billing?
First and last billing. Welcome to the weekday kickoff. I'm Joseph Pavlenko, and I'm Ryan Osborne, joined by Mark Pavlovich and Joseph Pavlenko as we get set for the second 45 of play. So a booking was given out, and I believe it's either going to be against what seems like Demetrius Vasquez or it will be Jason Leon. Either way, it's a booking against Golden West.
I thought he said he wanted the last filling, not billing.
He
Oh,
said
okay.
No,
said
I've gone to the
billing.
dentist. I have plenty of fillings.
Offsides here for Golden West. We have lost the plot here on Hornet Radio. We got soccer here right now live that you are watching in action. Don't forget that next week we will be back live here on Hornet Radio at 3 p.m. Fullerton College will have yet another home game for the weekday kickoff and the previously named Football Friday. That will be right here again on the FC Hornets Athletic YouTube page.
Wait. But next week, is it actually a Football Friday?
I mean, it is Friday.
So it's Football Friday. Get this weekday kickoff out of my face.
So welcome to the weekday kickoff brought to you by Football Friday here on Hornet Radio. We're back to the match that we are trying to watch here on Hornet Radio as this is cleared away. And Golden West is going to chase after it with Cisco Torres, getting heavily pressured there for a moment by Armando Puente. Puente is going to see this one bounce high into the air, will be intercepted by Emmanuel Jimenez. Jimenez chasing after it now with Josias Palacios and Jacob Leggett. Leggett with a nice touch on his right foot. He's now swinging it over towards his left, tries to line it down the middle. It is intercepted and bicycle kicked away nicely by Roger Reyes. That finds a teammate, and it's going to go to Pedro Flores. Flores tries to scoop it over towards his left, where it is taken away by the Hornets. Little triangle action here for Fullerton College. They turn it over, and a throw-in for the Rustlers. So, Mark, Joe, that first half was full of action for Fullerton College, and they continually were getting opportunity and chance after chance. However, they only come away with a 1-0 lead, and if you talk to some people around not only Fullerton, but also the Orange Empire Conference, there were some who thought that Fullerton also should have come away with a win over Santiago Canyon and scored a little bit more than they did.
Yeah, talked with Greg about that game. He thought they played well enough to win that match, and they ended up not doing it, and it really sort of set them back just a little. But really, like I said, when you look at what's going on, Irvine Valley came in today 3-0, Golden West 3-0, Cypress 2-0-1, and then your Hornets are sitting there at 1-0-2. If they win today, they're 2-0-2. Golden West will be 3-1. That's technically got them in that half game range. And Cypress, if for some reason they stumble today and they become like the Green Bay Packers 2-1-1, they're sitting there now almost dead even, and it's a foot race against their sister school, Fullerton College. And that's the thing that nobody from Cypress wants to see if they're looking to win this year in the OEC for the game of footy. Did you know that's another name for this sport,
I did.
footy?
I did.
Also, the beautiful game. Or is it the Buddha? What? I'm sorry. Hey, Boo Boo. Can I get my picnic basket?
Okay, Yogi.
What is happening? 40 minutes left in this one in regulation between Fullerton College and Golden West. Ball over towards the left where it will be picked up by Demetrius Vasquez. He'll see it go off his right foot and out. And a throw in now for Fullerton College. 1-0 Fullerton with the lead. They're going from right to left and Golden West from left to right. Now Fullerton College, if you are watching online, they are in the traditional blues for the Hornets. Palacios picks it up. He tries to leave it over to his right. He's going to take it now swinging towards his left foot where he will be dragged down for a second. But the official says no, that was just a little too easy on the contact there. And he does not award anything towards the Hornets. Going back to the kits for Fullerton, they're in their traditional navy blues. They will have white numerals with no outline and their shorts in blue as well. On the other side for Golden West, they are in the all-white kits here today, including shorts as well and socks. And they have green numerals outlined in yellow. That's not gold. They used to be gold, but now it's more of an electric yellow.
And I talked about Cypress and Irvine Valley. Right now, Ryan, Irvine Valley is up over Cypress 1-0 as they head into the second half. So that would be something special. Santa Ana Canyons, no score, 43 minutes in the second half. Long Beach ends up beating El Camino 6-0 today. So they threw the snide on them, had a clean sheet in that one. No score in Norco and Desert. That was 0-0. Nobody could get on the board. Norco's a great team. We've looked at them. Santa Ana and Santiago, well, we've already talked about them. Palomar comes away with a victory over San Diego City in their matchup. Pasadena, East LA, 1-0. Some of the scores around the 3C, 2A in men's soccer.
Here's a shot for the Hornets, their first of the second half. And for Fullerton College, that will add to their shot totals. That is number 8 for them. A save will be credited to Trevor Jones, so he gets his first save of the second half, and the ball goes off the Hornets. It will go out on the far side of the park. You mentioned that out-of-town scoreboard, Mark. If you're looking at it from Fullerton's side of things, it seems like the Hornets have a great opportunity to really make up a lot of ground. We talked about it at the start of the broadcast. Fullerton, with the win, would find themselves right in the spot that they would love to be at the top half of the OEC and really contending for their 4th straight crown in the Orange Empire Conference.
Well, let's say Cypress doesn't tie Irvine Valley. They're down 1-0 right now. That puts Cypress at 2-1-1. The Hornets win. They're 2-0-2. Technically, they are tied dead even with Cypress when you look at the standing. So that would be a big one. Irvine Valley would sit there at 4-0 if Golden West loses. They're 3-1. Irvine Valley would have the positioning of being on top at the beginning of the season, but it would be a sort of that open race then where you would have it. And, Irvine Valley, I saw them play. We'll see what happens as the game goes on.
Under 36 minutes left to play here in the first half between Fullerton and Golden West. Ryan Osborne, Joseph Pavlenko, in addition to Mark Pavlovich here on Hornet Radio. Live broadcasting Fullerton College men's soccer here on Hornet Radio for each of the last 4 seasons. You've had the opportunity to watch along here through weekday kickoffs, Football Fridays, playoffs, and also a lot of preseason action as well, not just for Fullerton College, but also a lot of the elite programs across not just Southern California. We've also included Arizona a couple matches as well.
Yeah, we've really got to see a lot of men's and women's soccer the last few years. And this is that sport. Ryan, I tell you what, Joe loves the sport. You've seen a bunch of games. This game keeps growing every year, and it's not a culture thing. I know people try to make it a culture thing, but if you look at the teams that are playing, the diversity in the game now of soccer, it is open as much as the other game of football is, with a different international background that you see in this game. I really do look at soccer as being the international game now.
Yeah, it is really growing in the United States and giving a lot of people an opportunity to see all these student athletes get another chance to play at the collegiate level. As Fullerton sees this one swung up, goes off the foot of, it looked like Palacios for a second, now chased over towards the right. Mark, one thing that was interesting in your talk with Greg Aviles earlier today is that he mentioned how he feels his team is growing, but it wasn't about what was on the field.
No, when you talk about him, it's actually about his student athletes. It's always about his student athletes. This is why I love this man and I love talking to him, because Greg has a great deal of love. Him and Kenny. Let's not forget Kenny, too. Kenny's the same way. Has a great deal of love for his student athletes and tries to understand the attitude of the players. We're around young people all the time, and I'm the oldest guy up there. I think I'm the oldest guy in campus. And we will always talk about when we were around, what the attitude was. And I've got to say, for any coach that has been involved in a sport as long as Greg has, and the amount of different players he has seen from different areas, the attitudes have changed. I give him so much love for being so open minded about these young men that he deals with on a daily basis. That's why I love to call them educators, not coaches. You really need to have to reach out and say, this guy loves the sport. He loves his player. He loves his college. He loves what he does. But he does it for everybody else, not for himself, Ryan. Because if he did it for himself, he probably wouldn't be here. He'd be someplace else making a lot more money.
Well, and you look at Greg Aviles and all those aspects that you just mentioned. You also have to look at a guy like Kenny Castellanos, who's been with this program, if I'm not mistaken, for about 18 years now. That includes time as a coach, time as a player. You see guys who you know have fallen in love with a program. And that's exactly what you see from these two. In Kenny Castellanos, I also want to include Alex Ione, who has done a tremendous job of being on this coaching staff as well. Lots of credit to him, and also making sure that they're able to relate more to the student athletes who have an attack here. Scoop this one over towards the middle. It's a shot for Fullerton College, and another save that will be credited to Trevor Jones. But Ione, Kenny Castellanos, like we were talking about, over 18 years here at Fullerton. Played here for Fullerton for a couple of years during some of the most successful times in men's soccer program history here at Fullerton College. Alex Ione has been with this program for a while, knows what it's about, and is able to really relate to these student athletes because he gets how their experience has processed, how they have gone from students to student athletes to going on to the next level. These three guys continually give these student athletes the chance to have someone to relate to and to be able to see someone who cares about a program.
And Joe, when you talk about coaches like Greg and Kenny, mentors, you've been around students enough. It's not just a coach or a teacher relationship. You've got to have a mentor that gets you through all the other tough times that nobody talks about.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes this coaching staff special. They really do try to be the complete package. One thing that we hear Greg saying a lot is he's not just taking a team and creating athletes. He really focuses on the student athlete, and we say this all the time. He's not just trying to make the best student athlete. He's trying to turn these guys into a bunch of young men that can go off in life and accomplish whatever their goals are, whether that stays or keeps them close to or adjacent to a soccer pitch somewhere, or if that takes them down some other road and some other avenue in life. He wants to see these guys come out of this program, go on to another program, and become successful in life in general, not just on the soccer pitch.
Fullerton on the intercept. They will get it back. And again, if you want the opportunity to learn more about these coaches and what they have done for their programs, as Ariel has to fight away from contact, lots of checking there, and getting back to it with heavy pressure, almost successful there, was Luis Cano. And Cano is able to see this one scooted off of Fullerton and out of play. We really invite you to take a look at not only just the Fullerton College athletic page, where you can see the bios for these coaches, you can understand where they have come from, but also their social media. If you haven't had the opportunity to follow this program on Instagram and get the updates that Fullerton College men's soccer continually is able to put out, really highlighting their student athletes, it's really a disservice if you haven't had the chance to look at that.
Yeah, and I mean, really look at community colleges around the state of California. I've got two young men that are sitting both next to me that have come through the programs, Joe and Ryan. And I mean this with all seriousness. You can't meet two smarter, brighter, sociable young men than the two men that I get to deal with on a daily basis because they put up with this old guy. And it really says a lot about the programs they came through here at Fullerton College and about the people that cared for them and helped them along their educational way to let them be who they are today. So if you're somebody out there sitting there looking for things to do, turn to your local community college. Reach out to them and find out what sort of programs they have, just like the young men next to me did here at Fullerton College.
Speaking of young men in the community college aspect, Caleb Ramos, who's directly behind us, going to be calling some volleyball action live here on Hornet Radio and the FC Hornets athletic page here on YouTube. That is coming up, slated for 6 p.m., and also depending on how quickly this match ends. With under 30 minutes left to play in this one, Fullerton College 1 and Golden West 0. Gives us a chance to talk to you about Hornet Media, which you can discover your hub for all things Fullerton College. From news and sports to entertainment and podcasts, our student-produced content keeps you connected to campus life. Find us online, on air, and in print. Hornet Media, where student creativity meets professional quality. That's the other thing. You go to community college, you learn how to give a promo seamlessly, flawlessly, perfectionately.
Well, it
Quickly.
also gives you the skills to do something like talk about Fullerton's lead, and as we tend to do at broadcast at Hornet Radio and before then KBPK, say, this lead is like the last biscuit at breakfast, and Fullerton College has got to protect it.
So you don't eat the last biscuit. You protect it. Every time somebody comes up, you stab them with a fork or something.
Well, it's my biscuit.
Oh, okay. All right.
The peanut gallery behind us with no headset is chiming in. 27:59 left. Here's Leggett. He tries to find someone over to his left. He gets the carom. Back to David Suarez. Little boot down the park where it will go for a chance for Fullerton College. Heavy foot race far side, and Golden West is able to clear in time. Where it will be kicked up over to Cano. Cano, Rodriguez watching it. Goes off his head. Finally cleared away, and it goes to the awaiting right foot of Emmanuel Jimenez. Fullerton gets it back. Mark, they have absolutely not only controlled possession time, but they have dictated the pace of play and where they want this match to be played out.
Yeah, and really what you love about watching the Hornets right now is you can see teams that'll sit on leads. The Hornets are not content just to be up 1-0.
Chance for Suarez. Suarez looking for Overton, and it just goes past him. Should be able to reach it in time before it gets over towards the sideline. He boots it back towards his left foot. He's going to find Suarez, but it's over his head. Has to backtrack for it. Now looking for Leggett, who's going to come over and bring support. Quick little run that goes back towards the Rustlers, and now Fullerton will take it right back with Paul Mounter. Paul Mounter looking to swing it to his left, and it's taken over by Morales Guerrero, where it will be taken away by the Rustlers, and Cano goes to work. Cano going 1 against 4. Make it 5, make it 6. Fullerton gets back in time. Cano down the middle of the frame, and he's able to leave this one over to his right. It goes off of a Hornet and out. No, it will actually go off a Rustler and out, and a goal kick coming up for Steven Martinez.
That was a great attempt at trying to make something happen, but sometimes in life, you're the pigeon, and sometimes you're the statue. And in that situation, he was the statue, unfortunately.
We welcome you back to Central Park. As Fullerton is going to kick this away with under 27 minutes left to go in regulation.
20 minutes. Still enough time to make a 3-course meal if you're motivated. Or finish the soccer game.
The weekday musings here on Hornet Radio. Here's Evan Courtney. He moves over to his right. He's looking for a teammate. Tries to keep it in. Cannot. Throw in Golden West. Build your future with Fullerton College's Technology and Engineering Division. Choose from 16 hands-on career programs with certificates to associate degrees. Train in state-of-the-art labs with expert instructors who will give you the real-world skills employers want. Your high-tech career starts here at Fullerton College and the Tech and Engineering programs.
That was a heist tech or?
It was height tech.
Oh,
height.
okay. All right.
Height.
Just like a manufacturing day today.
Exactly. Manufacturing Day, of course, put on by the Fullerton College Tech and Engineering program here on campus, giving students from around Southern California the opportunity to learn more about these programs we've been talking about, whether it be Fullerton College Media, FC Hornet Media, Fullerton Hornet Radio, the print department, manufacturing, welding, anything that may be a part of tech and engineering. Got the opportunity for these high schoolers to be able to come over and learn about what is good on campus and can help them in their professional careers.
Okay.
I blame Caleb.
Indeed.
Nothing.
That's also the problem.
Over towards the left. It is going to be picked up by the Hornets. Right back towards Courtney. Courtney on the off foot down the middle. And it has to be kicked away quickly by Jason Leone. Leone now looking across where Fullerton will commit a foul. It will go back to the Rustlers. They try and play it quickly. The official says, no, thank you. Bring that on back.
And really, when you're watching this match between these two, Joe, you really have to think that Golden West out here is just been outclassed and outmanned this entire afternoon against this Fullerton College Hornet team. I know it's only 1-0, but you feel like it should be 3 or 4-0 right about now.
Yeah, I mean, Golden West is down a goal, and I mean, it's not about winning and, well, it's a little bit about winning and losing, but it's how you respond, especially as a student athlete, to things like adversity and being behind. And those are developmental things, and especially as student athletes, we're students of life, we're students at college, we're students on the field, and those are lessons that we can take away as life lessons. Where was I going again?
You're going left to right on the soccer field.
You know where you were going? To the Fullerton College Administration and Justice Program. Serve justice with Fullerton College's Administration of Justice programs. Train for careers in law enforcement, security, court administration, and paralegal work. Our ABA-approved paralegal program and criminal justice courses give you the skills for a meaningful career in justice. Protect and serve. Start your training today.
You mean that's Judge Joe sitting next to me?
Judge Joe D.
Mark sitting between the two of us and going, what is life? And the answer is football is life, Mark.
Exactly.
And sometimes life is just life, but mostly football is life.
Here come the Rustlers. Left side of the park. Looking for the attack. Cano is on the right. Dipping in, moving to his right. Rustlers still have it. Picked up by Jorge Orozco. Orozco to his left foot. Now finds someone. Chance down the middle for Cano. And finally cleared away by Paul Mounter.
That was a great run. I think he maybe... Well, obviously he was trying to do something with it down there, but I think he held on to it a little bit too long, because by the time he made it back out to the wing, Ryan, we had, what, almost half the team back in that 18-yard box? It just, so much going on there.
And that's exactly it. Coaching staff for Fullerton not thrilled with the non-call there. Lots of contact. Here's Orozco. Orozco off of his right foot. He's now going to pop this one into the air where the cleats go a little high, but Fullerton's still able to get back with it. Here's Leggett. And it will be a foul call.
Yeah, I think the ref thought about it for a second and went, you know what? I didn't like that.
He played the advantage.
Yeah.
And it ends up stopping the run of play. So it goes back to Golden West, and they have another chance to get the equalizer.
And I don't have a couple problems. No problems with the tackle that was done by Golden West. He got foot on ball, took down the player afterwards. He actually played the ball. He didn't play the person. And I know coaches are going to say, yeah, but intentionally he tripped him. He got his foot there. But a good call or non-call against Golden West College.
Best chance of the day so far was right there for Golden West. Cano was in the clear. He had beat his guy, but just isn't able to get up in time and get that ball off his forehead and towards his teammate. So it goes off of Cano, glances away from him, and a goal kick coming up for Fullerton College. Avian Perez will enter, and taking a seat for the Hornets will be Oscar Feria. Antonio Villafana will re-enter for the Hornets as well. Becky Nguyen having fun behind the controls here on Hornet Radio. As the overcast begins just for a little bit, we'll see how this affects the run of play. as Andrew Ariola is going to pick it up. You got to see and hear from him at the half and how he was able to find his experience here at Fullerton College and then also earlier on in his soccer career. Fabian Perez having to chase after it. He gets to it in the corner. Cleared away by Golden West for a moment. Courtney trying to catch up to it, and it is finally picked away by the Rustlers. They try and go on a quick 3-on-4. Finally, the Fullerton Hornets get back. Popped up in the air. Perez now check back down over to his right to Bonilla. Juan Bonilla fresh into the 11 for Golden West. Now a chance for Duque. Duque on the right. Duque, heavy contact. Arnold Ramirez going after it. Will it be a corner kick? No, it is a goal kick.
And again, as you can see, Ryan, the physicality of this game is picked up. There is more, and you wonder about the animosity on the field right now because, Joe, if you watched a couple of the plays, there was some backbiting going on there where the play was already going on. People were sort of taking cheap shots at each other, and you sort of think if this last 18 minutes stays as physical, we'll see if it's the team who's the toughest that ends up winning this match against each other.
Yeah, and I mean, in situations like this is when it comes down to higher pressure situations, let's say, where the teams start to get a little chippy, a little physical. One team wants to maintain that lead or widen the gap, and the other team wants to put a marker on the board and make it a tie.
Well, and I think sometimes because these two teams are going to play against each other. I mean, if I go up and cheap shot you, Ryan, you're going to remember me for the next match. And I'm into your head. And, you wonder if players start saying that, hey, I don't think we're going to win today, but I'm going to make him think about me every time he's on the pitch.
Here's a shot that gets deflected on. First shot of this second half, and it will go as a save credited to Steven Martinez. No, and to your credit, Mark, I mean, that's one thing about the Orange Empire Conference. It's funny, I asked Andrew Ariola, so if you were to kind of circle the calendar and say that there's a team that you love playing against in the Orange Empire Conference, who would it be? And he immediately named a team because he said, you know what, it's not just the fact that they have a good facility, it's not just the fact that they're an OEC opponent, but they're just fun to play against as guys. So you get that feeling a lot, especially if it's a heavy physical contest. Now, I don't see it really getting as chippy as we have seen the IVC contests get here at Fullerton, but nonetheless, I do see a lot of physicality, and that will only increase over the next 16 and a half minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because, I mean, again, if you're Golden West, as everybody says, oh, we're going to play him again. My whole thing comes down to there's no such thing as a good loss. Let's just be realistic. I don't care who you play, how well you play. You don't learn anything from a good loss except that you lost and they can beat you. That's all you have learned.
Here's Suarez. Suarez trying to control it onto his knee. If he did, he had an open lane to work with. Instead, the Rustlers' back line gets back. Here's a chance that goes off the chest of Jacob Cortez. Cortez trying to get it back, but instead it's looped over by Bonilla. Bonilla looking for a teammate, kind of raising his arms up to the sky and saying, hey, guys, come on. We got to start the attack and make sure we have some support. Pushing the back for Courtney. Official says no. Fabian Perez going for it.
I think the hands are going up, Ryan, not because of that. I think the hands are going up towards the referee. Honestly do. I think everybody on the field now is looking for, you need to blow the whistle.
Or they're trying to figure out where the line in the sand for the official is. What will make him blow the whistle? What can I get away with? Because kind of one of the themes you've been saying in all the OEC soccer you've been seeing this year so far, Mark, at least in this playing season, is the refs haven't reached for that pocket or that whistle as often as it feels like they maybe have in the past. If both teams are willing to play physical game, the refs seem willing to let them play that game.
Yeah, I got told by a referee, too, that last year they got extremely tired of listening to coaches complain. And I think the attitude of referees has changed.
Here's a foot race. Viafana having to go one-on-one against Guevara. Matthew Guevara catches up to him, and he's able to force what is essentially a turnover for the Hornets.
You mean a takeaway?
14 minutes and 15 seconds left in this one in the regulation 90. Fullerton a foul against, it looks like Perez. And we
Here
may get a
comes
card here.
Wow.
It looks like we found the line in the sand.
So it wasn't on the contact. It was actually to Jared Rodriguez for talking to the official as he goes by.
Must not have been inviting him to dinner.
He said, "You are invited to have a peanut butter sandwich with me later on this weekend." The official said, "You know what? I only deal with delicious jams and jellies." Boysenberry and grape are the only two acceptable ones, by the way. 13 and a half to play in this one. Here's a chance off of the head of Cano. He gets a shot on. That's another save for Steven Martinez. So that's his second of this make it this second half, his third of the game. Golden West creeping their way back into this one. If you're a Hornet fan, you're thinking, all right, where is the quick anticipation and the aggressiveness of the first half? And most of it has gone away just because of how well Golden West has attacked here in the last 15 minutes or so. Getting all the way to the sideline and not able to catch it in time was Yasir Duque. And Duque is going to have to watch a very deep throw in near side of the park.
I think Fullerton College at the half, they probably got a conversation, talked to about the scoreline. It's 1-0, and, you know, when you think about it, a 0 is just a circle filled with possibilities. Now, Fullerton would rather those possibilities stay theoretical, but...
Ryan, Greg's loading the boat now because he changed out 5 players for this last 12-minute run.
Well, you want to. You want to keep this 1-0 lead. You do not want to let them score.
Taken away here by Golden West. Fullerton gets it back and a foul called on the Hornets. So the bench for Fullerton getting a little restless on this near side. Coach Aviles and Coach Castellanos just kind of pleading their case. You mentioned the guys who come in for Fullerton College, one of them being Michael Espinoza. And just like a dropped quarter, Fullerton College is trying to catch up here as Golden West goes back on the attack.
So, Mark, we know Golden West is probably sweating a little bit. 11 and a half minutes left in the match. But it seems like Fullerton is too, because it's their record, right? This could be a punctuation mark on their record for the season, and one that they probably kind of need.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, they could end up being 3-4-4 for the season. That almost puts them even across the board when you look at it. 2-0-2 in conference. Irvine Valley drops 1.
That went off the woodwork and into the goal.
So a corner kick that goes up into the air, falls down right to the penalty marker, and Fullerton College is going to see this one go in. It is Arnold Ramirez with 11 minutes left in this one. This will officially go down in the 79th minute, and Fullerton College gives up the equalizer in what was essentially kind of like what you would see in volleyball, a campfire, where there was no one in the middle and 4 different players taking a look at it. It's a tough bounce there, too, because that ball, Mark, you see it rainbow down, and it's stuck to the turf. It hits one guy, looked like it was a defender for Fullerton. Not sure if it was Areola or Paul Mounter, but it hits one shin and sticks directly to the turf, and just scooping that directly up. Ramirez, it's almost like a shovel play in hockey. You're just sending it up into the sky, and it hits the crossbar and pops right back down, and it's a goal for Golden West to make it 1-1.
And I think Greg emphasized how he felt about it because their yellow warm-up safety jackets is what it looks like on the sidelines was sitting there, and next thing you know, Greg kicks it. Greg was not happy about that entire play down there. And it really does. When it changes around, let's say that Fullerton now ends up being 1-1-2, and Golden West is 3-1-0. It's still that two-game lead. And Irvine Valley's winning, so all of a sudden now Irvine Valley gets a 4-game lead in conference.
Well, and now it's the thing of, it's been a physical game. Golden West has knotted it up 1-1. So does Golden West stay aggressive? But, I mean, if I happen to hit the turf mark, do I take an extra 3 seconds getting up? If a call gets called, do I take an extra 5 seconds setting the ball in place? Do I run the clock because we're a tie, or is Golden West going to take this almost closing minutes marker that they got on the board and go, now we got another one in us?
Well, when I watch the celebration, I don't know because I'm not part of the team, but that looked like a celebration from a team that said, oh, thank goodness we're tied. Thank goodness we're tied.
And the other thing is, too, if I'm Golden West, I keep this rolling. I keep that aggression going because it has worked for you for about 25 minutes, and you get the takeaway here. It's led to some good chances, and now you have an opportunity on the break. Coming back for it is Viafana. He's going to get called for a foul. Advantage played for a moment, and it's going to be whistled down as Golden West will have a free kick coming up. Little forearm shiver towards the back of that, and if you're Fullerton College, you're backpedaling just a little bit. Plenty of time with just under 8.5 left in this one. But also at the same time, the reason why, if I'm Golden West, I keep this rolling, keep that attack going up, is because you have a chance to go 4-0 in conference. This is an excellent opportunity for Golden West to separate themselves from the pack. So yes, IVC is up, but also Golden West has a good chance here to say, hey, not only are we right there with IVC, but we have a chance to get one of those buys in the first round.
Well, and let's also look at the season overall. Fullerton as a team, they've had some good showings. They've had some less than good showings. They've had some showings where they started off really strong and they ended in ties. And it seems like this team is a team where if you start to apply pressure in buckets, this team doesn't seem to respond well when it's on its heels backpedaling.
Well, I think the thing that bothers you, too, is Greg came out with, I think he thought, his 5 strongest players with 13 minutes to go for the run. And what do, Ryan? You give up that tying goal, which just not only disheartens the players, but it disheartens the staff.
And the issue, too, is that where it is especially disheartening is that it wasn't in a normal run of play. It's the fact that it was on a bounce off of a corner kick.
It was a set piece, and it was a weird bounce, like you said.
Yeah. And you have to give a lot of credit to the Rustlers. They have poured it on for the last 20 minutes. They have kept Fullerton on their heels. They have been able to attack well and find a lot of open space that the Hornets just haven't been able to adjust to for the moment being. Now you have Cano trying to work against Paul Mounter. They're going to say that that ball went out, so it is a throw-in for Fullerton College. Cano doesn't like the call, but nonetheless, Fullerton will get it back. The credit goes to the Rustlers for creating the chance that leads to the goal. Now, the goal itself is a funny hop that finds its way right to the foot of Arnold Ramirez, and credit to him, he buries it. He makes no mistake about that and hits the crossbar and brings it back down and in for the equalizer. But Golden West creates the chance that they need.
And Greg is exchanging pleasantries with the referee, and I think Greg's saying, you know what, you allowed them to play a very physical game against us, and we didn't get the calls. And that's just frustration on the sidelines, because those 1 or 2 calls, good or bad, have not been calls that have gone in the Hornets' way.
Up into the sky, it goes now to Ariola. Ariola's going to have a foot race. It goes back to Paul Mounter. And finally, shaken away to Martinez. Martinez, little liner. Overton looking for the near side to Palacios. Played up into the air and brought back down. Leggett has that go away from him. Now it goes over to Flores. Pedro Flores with it. He's going to look for Rosales. Near side. Paul Mounter is there in time.
What a turn on that header.
Yeah, and Paul Mounter had to adjust in midair so that way he could get a piece of that and clear it away.
That was some great heads-up play.
Terrible, Joe. Just terrible. Up into the sky. Hornets looking for it once more. Here's Overton. Now it's Cisco Torres. Torres pressured from behind. He is yanked backwards. No call coming. And the Rustlers take it away. Back to Cisco. Cisco on the line. Cisco looking for it, finds a teammate, does find its way to the right foot of Michael Espinoza. He's got an assist in this one. Here's Espinoza down the middle of the park. Overton sends it wide. Miscommunication for Fullerton College cost them there as Palacios and Overton were right on each other's hip, and they cause for each other to not get a chance.
And that's where we'll go back to something that Mark says. We'll say 99% of the game is skill, 1% is luck, and there was some miscommunication and some bad luck there, Mark.
Yeah, and again, if you saw what the play was, it was running down on the far side of the field, which would be the left side of the field. When they scored their goal, they ran it down here on the near side of the field at that time, which was the left side of the field. It's been a set play that has worked for them against Golden West all day. They haven't run it that often, Ryan and Joe, and when they have, they've either been really good or almost really good.
Or scored.
And scored, yes. And just amazing that they haven't run it more often against the Rustlers. Maybe they know that the Rustlers are weak defensively on that side.
I think it's adjustment-wise, because what you'll see here from Golden West is that they're willing to give up the left side of the field. But every time Fullerton tries to attack on that right side, an extra mid comes across to apply more pressure from behind, so that way that line isn't there for Espinoza or anyone attacking on that right wing. You notice on the left-hand side, Fullerton here in the second half has gotten a lot more spacing and a lot more opportunity to work, but to Golden West credit, they've shut down that right. Here's Leggett. Leggett down the middle of the park. Here's Palacios right in front, and a save is there, but it looks like it's offsides against the Hornets.
That was unfortunate. That was some beautiful passing to set up that opportunity, and I think the Fullerton Hornets are piling on the pressure, and I think they're trying to use what Greg mentioned to Mark at the start of the game, some of that conditioning, using that against Golden West, kind of trying to tire them out a little bit in the closing minutes of this game.
Yeah, 2:30 to go, Ron. And guys, I don't see much stoppage time in this second half.
Neither do I. The only thing that they really stopped it for was a brief injury timeout, which took all of maybe 20, 25 seconds, and then the stoppage for the celebration on the goal. We'll keep an eye on the clock, and we'll let you know where things go. Palacios with the ball. He's going to go over towards the right-hand side. He finds Espinoza. Espinoza on the turn. Looking down the middle. He tries to get it back to a teammate and finally scooped away at the last moment by the Rustlers. So the 2-minute clock will stop. So officially, Fullerton College and Golden West are in a air quotation stoppage time. OEC time, as Joe calls it. So for Fullerton College, 10 seconds into OEC time, we'll see what the official is going to grant once the 2 minutes are done. So Fullerton with heavy pressure. They've gotten a couple of shots in the last, we'll say, 3-4 minutes of play. They have a chance to get a win here. So does Golden West. Fullerton into the sky. This is going to go near side. Glowacki's going to have to chase after it and get to it in time. He does. He keeps it in bounds, scoops over to his left, now down towards the end line. He keeps it in for a second, just gets past the awaiting leg of Oscar Feria. Either way, the officials blow it down as it gets away past the end line for a goal kick.
And, I mean, if you're a Hornet fan, remember, there have been teams, there have been situations. It seemed like Fullerton in the past has scored with seconds on the clock or into stoppage time when we thought the game would be a tie game. So let's see if they can pull a rabbit out of their hat again today.
Chance for Suarez. Kicked away from him. Minute and a half gone in the final two, so 30 seconds left in regulation 90. Ball is going to be placed down by Steven Martinez, and Fullerton has to get up the park quickly and in a hurry. Keeping an eye on the official to see what he is going to award when he talks to the coaching staffs. Glowacki, little scooper over to his left. Here's Leggett, who takes a shot that goes off the awaiting hand of Trevor Jones and is parried wide. That ball was not going in on frame. However, a nice job there by Jones to just make sure that he seals off the post.
He didn't have a lot of time or space, but he really tried to sneak it in on that near post and get it by the keeper.
4 minutes of additional time will be added, according to the mid-official, or the main official, I should say. 13 seconds into it, Fullerton off the corner, they play it short. Here's Villafana, a liner. A chance is there for the Hornets. Back post, almost there for Palacios, and it's skied over top. Another corner kick coming up for Fullerton College. The play was there. They had the execution that they wanted, but a great job by the back line of the Rustlers to get in front of that, because on the near side, Mark, Palacios was there.
Yeah, he was. And it's interesting, too, because I'm watching where they're going to give the corner. It's going to be on the far side of the field. That'll be a right-footed kick, meaning the ball should come in from the out-of-bounds aspect and then curve back in towards the middle. So we'll see if we have anybody from the Hornets crashing the net. You've already seen that they're loaded up in the box, but I'm going to watch the top players here and see if they crash when this ball comes down.
Up into the sky, a chance for the Hornets still up there. Looked like it was last touched by whom? Another corner kick for Fullerton, so last touch by the Golden West Rustlers. Toss over towards the far side. A minute and a half has gone in the 4 additional minutes, so officially 2.5 minutes remaining in this one. These two teams fighting for it, and we do have someone down on the field for Golden West, so that's going to eat away at clock. Whistle here was blown 10 seconds ago.
So on the first attempt of that corner kick, there was so many Rustlers stacked in that penalty area.
Here's a chance for the Hornets, just goes wide. Paul Mounter got his head on it, and he missed the post by maybe 2 to 3 inches.
And again, a short kick, and that's the play, Joe, a short kick where you're the back person, take the header, and go for the far left corner.
Well, it looked like it was a tough thing to do, though, because like I was trying to say, that first corner that Fullerton took, there were so many Rustlers inside that penalty box area that we saw 1 or 2 of them, with all that commotion, get tied up in the net.
Yeah.
90 seconds left in this one. 4 minutes of additional time. Check down. It's going to go up towards the Rustler sideline. They're not going to do all too much to make sure that that ball gets back. They're going to be very content to keep it out of the way of the Hornets. A throw-in coming up. Presumably, with the amount of time remaining on the clock, which should be right about 1 minute left, this should be the final attack for either side. Fullerton trying to catch up to it. Little check down here by the Hornets, taken away by Villafana. Villafana fighting against 2. Villafana takes a shot that goes in on Jones, and he makes the save. Trevor Jones has been really good in this one for Golden West, Mark.
Yeah, but Villafana, as you saw in that one, Ryan, he's trying to kick the ball. His right arm is getting grabbed and pulled, throwing him off balance.
Yeah,
no, on goal. Martinez saved.
He had 2 or 3 Rustlers on him, and it's the kind of situation where maybe you would have liked to see him explore other opportunities, but he needed to either shoot it or give it to somebody, and being off balance, that was what he thought was his best opportunity at the moment.
Here's Leggett getting pulled behind. That's got to be a yellow card. It is, in fact, a yellow that gets awarded to Trejo. Trejo knows how much time is left, under 15 seconds.
Well, they're the Rustlers. They're trying to square dance. Take your partner, do-si-do.
So this should be it for Fullerton College. Officially on the 4 minutes allotted, we have passed that. So it should be just about one more kick in, and they'll see what the result of the play is. And after that, the official is going to point to the center of the field and end this matchup. Cisco Torres with the ball. He's going to kick it up for the Hornets. Everybody and the kitchen sink is in front of the 18-yard box. Ball into the air. Backspun. Still there for Fullerton for a second, and it will be cleared by the Rustlers. They're trying to pick it up. Here's Villafana. Villafana's got it back. He's moving to his right foot. He's got a teammate. It looks like Leggett. He's taken down in the box, and the official says no. Heavy contact there. No call for the Hornets, and it will be back to Fullerton College's way with a throw-in.
That up here from the booth, I didn't have the best angle, but that sometimes you can tell when somebody, they're hitting the ground under some of their own power. It looked like he did not have a choice to go horizontal in that situation.
A difficult one for the official because there was a heavy screen in front of him as well. Another chance for Fullerton College. Clangs around. That should have been a hand. It looked like it went off someone's arm, and that will do it for this matchup. A draw between Fullerton College and Golden West. Neither side is very happy about it. Paul Mounter pleading his case with the official, and the official says, no, that is it for 90. So between Fullerton College and Golden West, a thrilling final 25 of play between these two sides, and it finishes as everyone's least favorite result. On either end, a 1-1 draw.
Well, what was interesting is Kenny's telling the players to come back, and then Ryan, he puts his hand on the player. He wanted to keep going towards the official, and Greg came up and grabbed him by the shoulder and said, hey, let it go. But he is not happy, and I think he's not happy. You can see he's not happy with Greg either, because he wants to say, and I think he agrees with Joe, on when you said, Joe, looked like that you were knocked down from behind, that nothing was called. We know referees don't like to decide a game, but they think at the end that's why they were there. This was a tough game for the Hornets to tie.
Almost following that on the next play, there was that alleged handball, and there was a lot that happened close together. But like you said, refs don't want to be the decision makers. The score is what the score is. Ryan, take us home.
Heavy credit goes to Golden West for being able to push the envelope, especially towards the end there, and get that equalizer. In the 3rd minute, Palacios from Espinoza. In the 79th, it was Arnold Ramirez off of a corner kick. That's going to do it for us here from the weekday kickoff, brought to you by Football Fridays on Hornet Radio. That'll do it for Becky Nguyen, Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, and myself, Ryan Osborne, thanking you for joining us here on the weekday kickoff. Don't forget, coming up here at 6 p.m. in just a few minutes, there will be Fullerton College Volleyball live right here on this very same YouTube channel, and next week, also at 3, Fullerton College Soccer as well. A final 1-1 between Fullerton and Golden West. You've been watching the weekday kickoff here on Hornet Radio.